all put our hands together and give him a very warm welcome with a speech entitled Great Cod. It's Edward Ash.
Toastmaster. Did you know that 80% of the British population say they visit a fish and chip shop every year? Or at least that's what they tell their wives. But we do consume 382 million meals a year from the chippy. That's pretty impressive for a combination that's only been around for about 150 years. And the first fish and chip shop only opened, first fish and chip shop in the world only opened in 1860 by a Jewish fellow by the name of Joseph Mallon in Bow. Separately, both fried fish and chips were enjoyed by the British well before they came together. Chips, as a term for something edible, was in use in the 18th century, often in relation, rather curiously, to oranges. They were candied chunks of orange peel. 17th century France or Belgium may well have been the origin of the chip, but we Brits have perfected the thick chip with its fondant centre. It was in the same century that the potato was going from nobbly curiosity to staple food, especially for the poor. And given how the potatoes lend themselves to deep frying, it was inescapable that potato chips would soon be on the scene. By the Victorian era, chip potatoes were everywhere, from the delicate little straw chips, which resembled straws, eaten by the rich, to the French street food, which Dickens described as husky drops, husky chips of potatoes fried with some reluctant drops of oil. Only Dickens could say that. I certainly couldn't. Baked potatoes, but they ate them fried, and fried fish meanwhile was also on the tables of the rich and the poor. Breadcrumb fillets, delicately fried in butter, garnished with fried parsley, were a staple for upmarket meals. Whitebait, fried in lard, were considered a delicious delicacy. But there was another place fried fish could be bought, and that was the street. In the Jewish quarters of London and other big cities, there Sephardic Jews who sold cold fried fish intended for eating on the Sabbath when no cooking was allowed. It quickly took off, being cheap, filling, and tasty. And fried fish shops and market stalls, hot and cold, sprung up in cities across the UK. It was inevitable that these two foods, so popular with the masses, would end up being sold in combination. It proved a winning formula, and fish and chips took off immediately. Trawl fishing and the railway boom of the 1870s helped fish to reach inland areas. Of course, potatoes were grown everywhere. By 1910, there were 25,000 fish and chip shops in the UK, and by 1929, there were 10,000 more. Such was the hold of fish and chips and its genuine goodness, especially for its mainly working class consumers, that during the Second World War, fish and chips remained off the ration, though the type of fish available was somewhat dubious, even if it was fish at all. Who knows? George Orwell in The Road to Wigan Pier reckoned that fish and chips averted revolution. Across the UK, accompaniments vary, from the mushy peas of the north, to curry sauce, ketchup, mayonnaise, anyone? Or something called chip shop spice, which is on every counter in Hull. Salt and vinegar remain staples. In the 21st century chippy, vegetable fats have often replaced beef dripping or lard for frying. That's good for pescatarians, but arguably not for the rest of us. There are, however, fish and chips and fish and chips. Witness the disappointment on the faces of tourists lured by the promise of a great British delicacy, only to find they've happened upon the bad version, all grease and soggy batter. But then when it's good, well, it's crispy and fluffy with a hint of vinegar and a punch of salt. It's unbeatable. For anybody who wants to see the good version, go to YouTube and watch Heston create Fish and Chips to Die For. He gives a great lesson on selecting the freshest fish. He tells you how to thrice cook the chips. Use Arran Victory and Maris Piper potatoes. Don't cut them too thick. All those oversized chips on restaurant menus render the chips soggy. Wash them thoroughly, parboil them first, let them cool, then the two-step frying begins. I often freezer-load them before finally frying them, to have them available just on the spur of the moment. As for Heston's batter, good luck with that. It involves beer, vodka, honey, and a soda siphon. I've never tried to make it, and it might just be worth the £300 per head to go to his restaurant. Mr. Toastmaster, is the break coming up? Do I have time to go to the chippy?